The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Tonight against the Nets, Karl Anthony Towns, 26 points, 15 rebounds in 30 minutes of playing time. 4 of the Knicks starters had at least 20, including Josh Hart, who had 20. And the Knicks took the lead in the early stages of the second quarter and never looked back, and winning tonight 114-104. Great to have you with us here. Bill Pidto along with Wally Szczerbiak, who called the game on ESPN New York, the radio broadcast. Knicks now 7-6, a whole lot different in the fourth quarter tonight than what we saw on Friday night. What was the difference?
You can see this team coming together. A big difference was the defense. When Jericho Sims was inserted into that game, he was outstanding. With his versatility and his mobility, he can switch every screen up top. He moved his feet, blocked Dennis Schroeder's shot, a small point guard that has quick feet. That was a great defense effort by Sims and company. And then how about 9 straight against your crosstown rival, Brooklyn Nets? How's that sound? That is domination. Took care of business at the world's most famous arena. Beat Brooklyn twice. You get above 500. That's a good win for this Knicks team when Brunson did not have a typical game.
He's the only starter that didn't get to 20. He only had 12 points, and it didn't matter. He had a double-digit effort in terms of assists. Brunson finished the game with 10 assists to go with the 12 points. Wally, take us through some of the highlights here.
Well, it was nice to have that guy back in the lineup. And how about OG Anunoby? Just the dunkathon. He's getting like 4 or 5 dunks a game, it seems like, with the ball movement of this Knicks team. There's the big cat just doing his thing in the lane, just a dominant matchup over the smaller Brooklyn Nets. Jalen Brunson made a couple shots in the fourth quarter when he needed to, but he also trusted his teammates. And I think what's important when you have such a great closer and a guy like Jalen Brunson is you can't just stand around and watch him do it. You have to be aggressive, especially in the fourth quarter. Josh Hart made some big plays. Mikal Bridges knows how to make big shots. And Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, that is just unfair. When a 7-footer has that kind of body control to get an and-one floater over a defender that's in good position. Oh, there's Jericho Sims just flying high, finishing strong. Outstanding team win by the Knicks. How about those 33 assists?
They have now had at least 30 assists, Wally, in 6 games. Last year they had at least 30 assists in 10 games, and we're only 13 games into the season. You see the difference in terms of points in the paint, and the Knicks shot 49% from the field. Here now with Karl Anthony Towns. Karl, congratulations on the game. 26 and 15 for you in only 30 minutes of playing time. How were you able to be so dominant?
Just my teammates. My teammates put me in situations to succeed, and Cap obviously running the show. I think he did a great job commanding the game today, and when the double teams came to him, he made the right pass every single time.
You guys were much better in the fourth quarter tonight than you were Friday night when you gave up the big lead. What was the difference in this one?
Just playing defense. I think really, we got some stops when we needed to. We, they were hot from 3, so we made them miss some threes with our defense, and that really allowed us to protect the lead.
So you've now played in 12 of the 13 games. You guys are 7-6. How would you say your adjustment period is going in terms of fitting in with everybody? It seems like night in and night out, you're able to put forth an excellent performance.
I wish I could say I played all 13 games, but that's another story. So for me, I'm just really happy that I got the teammates I have, the coaching staff I have. They put us in positions every single night to win. So big shout out to my teammates, and big shout out to our coaching staff who put the work in, night out, to give us a chance to go out there and be great.
Karl, thanks for stopping by, and congratulations on a great game.
I appreciate it.
He is so likable, Wally. You can see how he fits in so easily and quickly. He's just such a likable guy.
He really is. And you knew that when he was coming from Minnesota. Everyone knew what a great guy he was. But this talent level is just, when you see it on a nightly basis, you really come to appreciate it.
He's so mobile. It's a mobility.
I mean, that is just leaving a smaller, really good defender, Dorian Finney-Smith, in his shoes and finishing. I mean, this is an array of buckets. There is no weakness to his game. It's all set up by that beautiful stroke that he has from deep. But the fact that he can put the ball on the floor, he's a great passer also, dominant rebounder. I mean, the most impressive stat, well, I don't know if it's a stat. There are 4 guys in the NBA for their careers that have averaged 22 and 11 that are playing actively. It is Jokic, Embiid, and Anthony Davis. So that's how good this guy is. Every night he is a double-double, 20 and 10 guy for his career. I mean, this is something that when you see it on a nightly basis, you come to appreciate the talent level that he has and why he was the #1 pick in the draft 9 years ago.
All right, let us now bring Alan Hahn in. He's on the court. Alan, it's almost like the guy's 7 feet, but he's like a guard in a 7-footer's body when you watch Cat play night after night now.
Yeah, and you also see a side of him, I think, that wasn't really it wasn't talked about nearly enough when he got here, which all we talked about was the fact that he could stretch the floor and shoot the three-point shot. What we don't talk about enough, I think, and Wally, you alluded to it, is just how big and strong he is and the dominance that he has in the paint. The Knicks had 50 points in the paint in this game. The Nets didn't have a shot blocker. They didn't have their center. Nick Claxton was out for yet another game. He had nobody near him, nobody in his stratosphere when it comes to size and strength. And he did exactly what he should do, get in the paint and get it dirty and play in the paint and make them try to guard him, which they couldn't do. I'm surprised he didn't get to the free throw line more because there was a lot of physicality. But when you see his numbers, 26, 15, and 6, a block, a steal, I mean, he was absolutely all over this game. If it wasn't for some of the early fouls, he might have gone for bigger numbers because he definitely would have played a lot more.
Alan, we've all been talking about the importance of getting production off the bench. Cameron Payne has been really good since he came back from that injury. How important has his contributions been off that bench?
Well, he's exactly what we're seeing out of him these last couple of games now since he's been back from the injury is why they signed him. The whole point of when Jalen Brunson goes to the bench, you need somebody at the guard position that can still kind of run an offense, that it's a veteran experienced enough to run an offense, and yet also can get you scoring so that it is something that you can live without having Jalen Brunson on the floor for a stretch. He had 6 assists as well as knocking down those 3 threes. So that's certainly a part of the game that they love from him. Experience, the guy has been there, he's played in NBA Finals. This has been his role for most of his career. He can get you offense, and so it allows Tom Thibodeau to leave Jalen Brunson on the bench. We saw it a couple of games ago, if you remember. He was playing so well when the Knicks made that 17-0 run to get back in the game against Chicago that Jalen Brunson didn't get back in that game until 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter because Payne had been playing so well.
All right, Alan, great stuff. Doing everything today for us. We'll see you tomorrow, okay?
All right, boys.
All right, Tom Thibodeau's Knicks now 7-6, above 500 for the second time this season. We'll get his postgame reaction coming up.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Welcome back, everyone, as the Knicks make it 2 straight over the Nets, winning this one by 10, 114-104. Back now from the Corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. So tomorrow night, the Knicks are home again. They'll play host to the Washington Wizards. Pre-game comes your way at 7. Game comes your way at 7:30. And then the Knicks go on a season-long 5-game road trip that begins in Phoenix on Wednesday and ends the day after Thanksgiving at Charlotte. Time now to listen into the post-game comments from Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau, presented by Chase.
Most about the way the team performed tonight.
You know, playing the same team twice, not easy to do. Come out, play hard on both sides of the ball. Thought our rebounding was good, defense good. So just keep building, keep getting better.
How much does Cat's ability to pass from the top of the key just open up everything for everybody? 6 assists tonight, is able to throw over defenders.
Yeah, and I think they did a lot of switching, so we did a lot of cutting, and I thought guys were unselfish. High assists, and I think good things come from that. Every time you help somebody else, you end up helping yourself. So the harder you cut, the better it is, and they know if they're open, Cat's going to hit them. But he's not the only one. We got a lot of guys making plays for each other, and that's what makes the offense go.
Are you learning anything new about OG on the offensive end?
Yeah, OG's a really good player because he can shoot the ball, he can move well without the ball. He's good in transition. If you put a small guy on him, he can take him inside, reads the game well. And again, there's awareness as to where he is because of the shooting. And then when he sees the back of his man's head, he cuts and he relocates extremely well. And so the constant movement by him, I think, is huge for us.
Well, OG is, I think, 1 or 2 among non-centers in dunks so far this year. Is that a testament to him being more aggressive, the cutting things up leadership?
Yeah, well, deep paint decisions, attack the rim, You know, I think the harder you cut, the better. But get out and transition, run the floor, and things like that. And that, you know, guys are throwing it up. I think, you know, he's a good vertical threat, as is Jericho.
For sitting Cat down the stretch, is that just the fouls or also his back?
Yeah, just, you know, the way the game was going, we had the lead. We wanted to do, they were small, we wanted to do more switching. So we're just reading how it was going, you know.
And how do you think Jericho played today?
Good. I mean, when you look at Jericho's, he's number one among centers in defensive field goal percentage in the restricted, right? So I know what he provides there. And then his screening and his ability to put pressure on the rim, it's a different type of pressure. You know, Cat can play away from the basket, but Jericho's going hard to the rim. And then what it does also allow us to do is to switch more. He's got great feet, so that part is good. I thought Pacome gave us good minutes, particularly in the first half.
Sorry, I was going to ask you about Pacome and his defensive reps in the first half. Has he been showing signs of just being able to do a little bit of everything?
Yeah, I think the first half was really good, and then to understand the fourth quarter is different. The intensity is different in the fourth quarter. So we have to, and our young guys have to go through it first. You know, and I think the more they go through it, the better they're going to understand that intensity.
Last year when Jalen had his shooting night like this, like it was really tough for you guys to win. I mean, what does it show that you guys, you know, he shoots, what is that, 3 for 14,
Yeah,
whatever it was?
the bottom line is, and that's what I love about Jalen, you know, like he's going to keep going. And the most important thing to him, he could, you know, he doesn't care if he's 3 for 25. As long as we win, Jalen feels good. And it says a lot about him, you know, and we have a number of guys that are like that. And I thought, you know, OG's defense and McHale's defense, Josh, that goes a long way. They're a very good offensive team. They play fast, they're small, they can shoot, you know, so it requires you to do more than one thing. You know, Simmons inverts you, you know, because he can handle the ball and they run offense through him. Cam Thomas is just a load to deal with. And then Finney Smith, same thing. His versatility, he plays practically every position on the floor. You know, so like you have to be aware if someone other than the center picks up their center, right? The communication has to be great, so you're not leaving someone wide open. So that requires everyone being tied together. So I thought the communication was a lot better tonight. But we got, you know, obviously we have a lot of work to do, and we got to keep getting better.
Is there anything about Cat's game that you didn't know that you know now that you've coached him? I mean,
No, because he tells me all about no. No, you know, and like I had him when he was young, and you know, even then, you know, I think his second year he was averaging 25 or 26 points a game, and I just remember like watching him shoot in practice, and obviously he was doing it in the games. But the way he was shooting, there was like you do shooting drills and he wouldn't miss any, right? And you're like, this guy can really shoot. And then you can play back to the basket. He wasn't quite as strong as he is now, and obviously didn't have the experience. You know, so he didn't go through, you know, understanding the league, his opponents, the guys he was going against, the guys that were guarding him. Now he has that. And the thing is, he's a student of the game. He keeps adding, you know. So it's like, I think, you know, and the passing is really, I think, evolved. He's always been unselfish. He's always been a team first guy, and so. But now I think he really sees things. He sees, he understands what defense is trying to do. He knows if there's overhelp. He's seeing the whole floor now. Initially, like most young guys, the vision was more narrow. It may have been on one guy, but now he sees more than one guy. He sees the defense. He sees where everyone is. He sees if there's an overhelp, I can fake here and throw there, you know, and that goes a long way.
Thanks, good.
Yep, thank you.
All right, so Cat does a little bit of everything, but worth reiterating here, the Knicks score 114 points and win, even though Jalen Brunson scores only 12 points.
Yeah.
Does have the 10 assists, but shot only 3 of 14 from the floor.
That's huge, and that's the evolution of this team. That's why the Knicks front office went out and made those trades because it takes the pressure off Jalen Brunson. One thing that was very intriguing to me was the minutes distribution. There were 3 guys over 40 minutes. Jalen Brunson was not one of them. Jalen Brunson's minutes have been kept in check for the most part. He played 34 minutes tonight, and part of the reason why is Cameron Payne has been so good off the bench. And the Knicks didn't have a backup point guard that could really handle the offense and run the team last year at times. This year, they do. And Cameron Payne is making Jalen's life a lot easier because he doesn't have to play those major minutes. And when they need Jalen in the fourth quarter, he's ready to do whatever the Knicks need to bring home the win.
Payne 9 points, and all of this with Deuce McBride missing his second straight game, and Brunson still didn't play the amount of time he normally does. Knicks are back home tomorrow night, hosting the Wizards. Pre-game at 7, game at 7:30. You can also stream on the Gotham Sports app. Campaign tonight off the bench, 9.6 assists. Here he is after the game with Alan Hahn.
The first thing I just wanted to ask you about was the role that you came here to play, and how the last couple of games it really does feel like you're starting to find a rhythm now in that role.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm starting to figure out where I fit in. Like you said, I'm starting to embrace what I was supposed to be doing out there. But honestly, man, just go out there and play free, push the pace. That's a little bit of things I do. Try to play fast, and just honestly, man, just as a backup, just keep the score at the same or try to push it, and that's my job every time.
Now, this game, it felt like you played the same team twice. It's always going to be a lot tougher second time around, but this time around, the lead held. What did it take to do that?
We had to stay locked in for 48 minutes. I think the last game we kind of let the blitz kind of made us a little stagnant. Today we just had to keep playing fast and keep doing what we were doing to get us the lead. I felt like last game we kind of retracted a little bit, started playing a little slow, tried to use the time. But tonight we kept playing, and it showed. It didn't go down to the wire. We finished the game in a decent spot.
I know you were in the Western Conference, so you've played against Karl Anthony Towns out there. But as a teammate now, what are you learning about him?
Oh man, he can score really crazy. Obviously I knew he could score, but just to see how much of a mismatch he is against other bigs, it's really amazing to see. He can see over everybody. He makes good passes. He can see the floor. He just does his job. It was big time to have him back in there in the lineup tonight. And hopefully he keep doing the same thing day in, day out.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Cat is impressing everybody. How about Campaign? Well-traveled, seems to make a contribution wherever he is. You know about changing teams and having to come off the bench. What do you think it's been like for him to have to adjust?
Well, it's fun to come off the bench. I did it later on in my career when it's with a good team. Because you come into that game, especially at home, it's a rabid crowd, and it's an excited crowd, and you become a real energizer. And Campaign has completely embraced that role. Those threes that he hits, I mean, they feel bigger. I mean, he's shooting the ball great, but he went 3 for 7 or something from the three-point line. It felt like he went 6 for 10 because those are just such big shots. They're momentum busters. They're momentum starters. And he's just really good piece that the Knicks really needed on this roster moving forward. He's not afraid of the big moment. He's played in big games. And obviously the Knicks have aspirations to play in big games moving forward, and he'll be ready.
All right, Mikal Bridges had 22 points Friday against his former team and a key block to preserve the win. And tonight he had 21 points against his former team. Here he is now in the locker room.
So 2 games against your former team now in the same weekend. Are you glad it's over, or what was the experience like?
It was great, man. It was great to see everybody. I still got close relationships with a lot of people. So it's cool to compete against them, different players for some years, but not a level of friendship I got. So now it's fun, a little bickering back and forth. So it's good to see those guys.
Looking at your numbers and the three-point shooting that everybody likes to talk about so much, we have noticed that the corner three really is like a green zone for you, like red hot from there. Is that something that you focus on? Like, all right, let me get to the corner because that's where I make most of them.
I think that's pretty much I've been playing out of corner, since college and all that stuff. So kind of been a corner guy and operating in that corner a lot, so somewhere comfortable.
All right, and in this game, again, they make a push, but this time around, you guys hold on to the lead. What was the difference tonight versus Friday night?
Just everybody just staying locked in. We didn't give up. They made their runs, but we stayed with it, stayed poised, and attacked them after. So I think we just didn't give up, and took everybody in this locker room.
Tell me about OG Anunoby as a teammate and also as somebody that you're out there defending and also having to bring offense. He's kind of doing the same thing, the two of you and what you bring. What have you learned about him?
Yeah, just OG, that's my guy, man. Just do everything on both ends. I got mad at myself for shooting a midi, and I made it, but he was open on a wing for a three. So, I try to look out for him, but that's my guy.
So I'm working.
Anunoby had 24 tonight. Bridges the 21. Knicks now 7-6 on the year. We'll be back with more after this. Wrapping up the post-game show, Knicks are back home tomorrow night against the Wizards before they go on a 5-game road trip. Pre-game at 7, game at 7:30. And you can also stream on MSG Plus now in the Gotham Sports app. Tom Thibodeau's Knicks make it 2 straight over the Nets. Karl-Anthony Towns 26-15. Knicks win at 114-104.